Texas Senator Ted Cruz sounding the alarm, concerned that the Biden administration cannot handle the massive influx of Afghan refugees and the border crisis at the same time.
Leadership at Fort Bliss told me about one of the refugees who called an Uber and took an Uber to downtown El Paso, and they are not detaining anyone there. And I'm very concerned that the Biden administration is bringing tens of thousands of refugees into the United States without thoroughly vetting them.
Former acting DHS Secretary, Heritage Foundation visiting fellow Chad Wolf joins us now to discuss. Sir, thank you for being here. Do you have confidence in our vetting process, or do you share the same concerns as you just heard Senator Ted Cruz has?
Well, thank you for having me this morning. Normally, I would say I do have confidence in our vetting process, but that's a process that takes several months, even years, to vet these SIV applicants. So the fact that we are doing this amount of individuals in such a short period of time, in a matter of days, I have concerns that inevitably corners will be cut during that screening and vetting process.
Let's look at the overall picture. And again, we mean no disrespect to the brave men and women that make up this agency. You know them. You are in charge of them. They work tirelessly to keep us all safe. But this administration has struggled so mightily throughout the border crisis. As the former leader, how can they successfully now add refugee resettlement to their plate?
Well, it's a tremendous challenge. Obviously, as you indicated, they have a crisis on that southwest border that is really taxing the system, both from a CBP and Border Patrol standpoint, but also other resources. And now add on top of that the fact that they're going to have to screen and vet these thousands of individuals from Afghanistan, whether they are the SIV holders, which we have a lot of information about, or they are other vulnerable Afghans, which we have very little information about. It's taxing the system. And again, when you have this amount of individuals that you have to screen and vet in a matter of days, they're going to be corners that are going to be cut. And I think the most concerning thing is if those visa applications are not finished, and we know that they're not going to be finished in time, DHS is simply paroling these individuals into the country. It's how they get them here to the U.S. without any immigration status. And then they're doing the checks on the back end. And so you could have dangerous individuals at these military installations, leaving these military installations in some cases, and we find that they don't pass the screening and vetting at the end of the day.
Implicit within the name Department of Homeland Security is, of course, securing the homeland. What are the ramifications to the homeland of these two massive responsibilities if they are not carried out well by DHS?
Well, it's extremely serious. Obviously, when we look at Afghanistan and the disastrous way in which we've conducted this withdrawal, my concern from a Homeland Security perspective is that we are, again, allowing Afghanistan to become that safe haven for terrorism. So whether it's the Taliban, it's ISIS-K, or other groups, their ultimate goal at the end of the day is to be able to strike here in the homeland and have that reach here. And so if we continue to foster that and allow that to continue without any assets on the ground in Afghanistan, that's a concern from a Homeland Security perspective. And then when we look closer to home on that southwest border, again, we have over 200,000 individuals coming across that border every month. The vast majority of them are not screened or not vetted. We don't know who they are. There's criminals. There's other bad individuals coming across that border. So it's a national security and public safety issue that's going on that border today that's getting overshadowed, frankly, by the events in Afghanistan.
Yeah, and we want to get your opinion on this before we let you go, because migrants, as we've discussed, continue to spill into the Rio Grande Valley. Despite the Supreme Court's order that the Biden administration reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy, as new numbers, and we'll pull them up on the screen, show border deaths could break all-time record this year. Take a look at these encounters. I mean, these numbers are just staggering, and numbers do tell a story. This decision last week was a 6-3 decision. What is your response?
Well, I think the numbers are staggering across the board. As you indicated, not only are we seeing increased number of migrant deaths in the desert trying to cross that local police and others are finding, but we're also seeing in custody. These are CBP in custody deaths for the last 3 months have been over a dozen. And that's more than any 12-month period. So I would, again, I talk about the Biden administration have a very inhumane policy where they're encouraging this type of mass rush to the border order which causes the death that we've seen in others. When we talk about MPP, it's a vital program to making sure that we bring some of that or root out some of that fraud in the asylum system. We know it worked. The court acknowledged it worked. And I hope that the Biden administration re-implements that program in a very fast manner. I don't hold my breath, though. I think they're going to drag this out. They're not a fan of the program, and they're not going to want to implement it at the end of the day.
Chad Wolf, we really appreciate your insight this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thanks for watching the Heritage Foundation's YouTube channel. With more than 500,000 members, we are the nation's largest conservative research and education institution. We believe the principles and ideas of the American founding are worth conserving and renewing. Please help us further our mission by subscribing to this channel and sharing our videos with your family and friends.